Do you know? Dwarfs are most universally liked race in fantasy history. Whether it is Dungeons and Dragons, World of Warcraft, Warhammer, or our all-time favorite, The Lord of the Rings. If you are from outside this fantasy bubble, then perhaps you might think, why dwarfs? They don't have the height, nor do they look handsome like elves. So why would anyone like them this much? But try asking the same thing to any nerd. Who is the toughest amongst a knight, a Viking, and the dwarf? This is a debate that will never end. From Davi community to hardcore metalheads, every dude absolutely respects the beard. Hello travelers, I am LuciferCodeZero, and today I am going to tell you why we like dwarves so much in fantasy universe.
Every wrong is recorded. Every slight against us.
Now what can we even say about their anger? They are so short-tempered.
Shut!
First of all, you will notice their attitude. Never forgive, never forget. These guys are so petty. Warhammer is just on another level. If you accidentally bump into them on the street, consider your name written straight into the grudge book. In other fantasy universes, a stereotype runs that dwarves are rough on the outside and soft on the inside. But when it comes to the Warhammer Davi, there is no such thing as a soft heart. There is only pure anger, unending pride, endless war, and a massive book full of grudges that they have to settle at any cost. What is the very first thing that comes to the mind when you hear the name dwarf? A massive hammer and a fire-spitting forge. Their craftsmanship is god tier in entire fantasy universe. Just look at the massive underground cities of Erebor and Moria in the Lord of the Rings. Their stone architecture is so brutal and grand that an entire elven civilization would be put to the same. But it is not just about carving stones. Their entire brain run on gunpowder. If you have played World of Warcraft, then you must solely remember that classic cinematics. A sheer joy of firing a Dwarven-made gun. Where will you find that in a wizard's magic wand? I still remember when I played WoW with the Dwarf Hunter for the first time. Now, those were the days. Whether it is a Warhammer or any other universe, the Davi do not rely much on the magic. When other races are busy assembling their spells and army, dwarves are sitting in their workshop designing massive cannons, gyrocopters, and war machines. And as far as magic goes, their style is completely different. They directly force the wind of magic into their weapons and armor in the form of runes. This is exactly why they are also called rune lords in Warhammer. By now you must have realized these guys do not solve a problem with magic. To solve every problem, they straight up forge a new weapon.
Take up your axes! Show these orcs and Groby the might of Karazakarak!
Dwarves and warfare. Only one image comes straight to the mind. Massive warhammers and brutal battle axes. Pure skull-crushing business. On the battlefield, they only have two extreme modes. Either an absolutely unkillable tank in heavy armor and shields, or a half-naked, completely unhinged berserker who has dual axe in his hands and zero fear of death in his mind. But the funny thing is that these guys are not hungry for territory or conquest. They are purely fierce defenders. Look in any universe. It is always the invaders who comes to break their mountain gates. The reason? Their limitless treasure. Their underground holes literally remain overflowing with the gold and legendary artifacts. So whether it is a dragons or endless swarm of goblins, everyone wants to loot their vaults. But reaching that treasure? Mate, good luck with that. Breaching a solid Davi sealed wall simply means giving a VIP invitation to your own death. Whether it is ale, beer or whiskey, this is a universal constant on every fantasy universe. Go into any tavern. The loudest table will be theirs. In their culture, drinking is just not a hobby, it is a proper lifestyle. But do not make one mistake. Absolutely do not consider them just ordinary drunkards. When you stand on the front line with them, then you do not just become a friend, you become their blood brother. These guys will never leave you to die alone. Their most dangerous trait, a true dwarf would sooner return to the dust than take a single step back. That before dishonor, no exceptions. The very notion of retreat simply does not exist in their world. So much so that in Warhammer, this is a literal mechanic. Where the moral of other races break easily, these dwarves stay grounded on the battlefield until their last breath. Whether it is a Tolkien's fantasy or a virtual universe of Warhammer, their rivalry is absolutely universal. Dwarf versus elves. Now ordinary people think that these dwarves just get triggered for no reason upon seeing these pointy-eared, tree-hugging elves. But the reality is little darker. It is not a matter of jealousy. It is about absolute honor. On one side are these arrogant elves who think they are most superior, and on the other sides are dwarfs who have forged their entire empire with stone, blood and sweat. For a dwarf, the most sacred thing is their oath. If they give you their word, they will honor it until their death. But elves often look down upon their level of stubborn loyalty. Just look at the lore of Warhammer. What did those arrogant elves actually do? They actually cut the beards of dwarf ambassadors, their literal pride, and send them back. In the history, this is called the War of Beard. For a Davi, no greater dishonor exists in this universe than losing his beard. So the matter is simple. This is no petty rivalry. This is a century-old anger of fiercely proud race against those who insult their honor and traditions. And honestly, this exact uncompromising honor is what makes them most iconic race in entire fantasy genre. And friends, epic videos like this will keep coming. So do like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you in the next one.